here's a fun little query. I keep saying, these alias things here are not the JavaScript dereferencing brackets we are looking for. Anything that meets the contract expression of T can gladly be shoved into here, which is why this fellow over here very reasonably says, oh, I'm joining on an aggregator. Let's try shoving an aggregator into the alias brackets. And this is perfectly reasonable. Let's say I had a column called kitchen sink. I could just completely reasonably shove that inside of here, despite the fact that this thing doesn't exist. So then, when you do a max operator that returns an expression type, right over here, what's the problem? Of course, that doesn't work, and it fails at runtime, because the type system itself doesn't actually tell you what's valid and what's invalid. Like all adventures in Exposed, this whole thing is much ado about nothing. The actual query that they're trying to get is just this. That's relatively simple SQL. Let's see how to do that in ExoQuery. Hint, hint, it's really easy. Let's start with our table def. In ExoQuery, it's just that. Now, let's start this query. Let's put the SQL that we expect for reference. Let's put in our alias, and then let's do our from and the subquery inside. Let's work on the subquery now. First thing we need is this subselect of table A right here, so let's do that. Then we need the group by, and then finally we need the projection. Now, we could use a pair type for this, which would be totally fine, but in order to get it to line up with this query, let's use a custom row type. It's got columns B and C in here, so let's just use that. Now, let's change that. Now we've got our from and our inner query. What else do we need to do? We need to do this left join of this outer table, and then the projection. So, just join it up on B, and then let's do the projection. Whoops, we've got an issue here. Why? Oh, that's right, because a left join will return an optional. So, voila. Now, let's compile this thing. And voila. And that is it, guys. That is all that it takes in ExoQuery. Until next time.